the king of Fomo.
What's up, everybody? King of Fomo here, coming at you with your daily crypto updates. Today we're going to talk about the 4 smart contracts, or 4 things that I've jumped into since I started making videos again. Those things are going to be Noah Labs, Bitnest, Gandhi, and Polygon 6D. So first we'll start with Noah Labs. I talked about this about a week ago, and this is the platform where you can purchase NFTs, and it's sort of a long-term play, right? We're waiting until the actual token, the X token, gets launched and put on PancakeSwap, and then we're going to start to see some movement from there and make some decisions based on that. So first of all, let's just take a look and see kind of what's going on here. You can see my assets right now sit at about $493 worth of assets. The price of X token is rising algorithmically still, so we're at $1.17.6. I think it was either the same amount before. No, it was actually a little bit lower. It was at $17.3. But nonetheless, that's the artificial rise. Again, we're waiting for that X token to launch. Now, some other things to note just for your future reference, if you're looking at this thinking about kind of how I'm thinking, is this thing actually growing? Right now, there are 47,062 NFTs being minted. I'm looking at it on my computer screen right now on the smart contract. I'm reading it, and it says there's 47,062 smart or NFTs that have been sold. Now, right now, for sale total, they have 300,000 that's going to be available to the market. Now, I don't know if they're going to sell all 300,000 by the time the coin launches, but we will see as time goes on. Now, I want to go over to my wallet here to show you guys kind of the numbers of Noah Labs and where it could potentially go. So right now you can see I have, like I said, $493. I've spent about $500 on all the NFTs that I purchased, and the amount of X tokens that I've earned in about week since I've been in here is 7.92. So $500 spent and 7.92 X tokens earned. So currently that is at a price of a little over $9, maybe $10 if you're multiplying, the X token by the amount of tokens that I have. So $10 in 7 days for a $500 spend. That's actually not too shabby, but nonetheless, I think that we're going to be seeing a lot bigger numbers. I could go and I could sell these tokens right now, these X tokens right now, and get, like I said, $10 for my 7 days worth of being in this platform. But one thing I want to sort of help you guys understand is the other token that I mentioned that this is sort of modeled off of. This is called LGNS over here on CoinGecko. This is the LGNS token. Now, people are saying that Noah Labs' X token can go 10x just like LGNS. LGNS, I believe, was launched on Polygon. Noah Labs is on the Binance Smart Chain. So way more users on the Binance Smart Chain than on Polygon. And we can see, if I go to the info section to see kind of the historical data of the LGNS token. Again, this token is basically what the X token is modeled after. The all-time low for LGNS is at about $8.84. I believe that was when it launched, and that was at December 8th, 2024. And then April 12th, 2024 was when they had their all-time high. So this isn't when they launched. They launched a little at a different price than that. But nonetheless, that's about a 10x increase from all-time low to all-time high. And that's what people are saying, that the X token can do the same thing. And we're still looking at, LGNS is still doing its thing. It's at $19 right now, so it hasn't disappeared at all. And it's been around for well over a year. So going back to Noah Labs and kind of doing some quick math here so I can get to the other stuff as well. 7.92 tokens at 10x the value. If it does the same as LGNS, we're looking at close to $80 in 7 days. So my break-even point will be in 2 or 3 weeks. Actually, no, it'll be like three or 4 weeks. So that looks even better if we're looking at that. Now that's being extremely optimistic. Being more realistic, maybe we can see a 5x. It'll take me twice as long, but still, that is something that I am more than willing to do, and still looking forward to purchasing more packages here, or more NFTs here in Noah Labs. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. The next one I want to talk about is going to be Polygon 6D. So let me go ahead and pause the video so I can load that up for you. All right, so here we go. We're on the Polygon 6D website, so I don't actually have to log into here officially. I can just review my wallet. You can actually view any wallet in here. And this is a pretty aggressive staking plan, pretty degen if you ask me, because of the fact that, you know, things that are really aggressive like this, they don't tend to last an extremely long time. But nonetheless, we are staking for 7 days for a profit of 10%. That's what we're doing here on the King of Fomo channel. So looking at my staking orders, I did test this out for just $1 amount, and we can see that was successful. You can see that it's completed at the bottom. And at the top here, this is my 7-day stake. $200 turning into $220, all paid out in one lump sum at the expiration date, which is going to be at about 4 days from now in 3 hours. So you guys can kind of see how that worked out for me, or if it works out for me in 4 days. Stick around. I'll show you guys kind of what that's doing. But this is pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. Now, if you're interested in joining any of this stuff, you're like, oh man, I really, that looks interesting to me. Number one, please go back and watch the videos that I made individually about these things so you can understand what it's all about. But also you can go to my links down below. I'm going to try and make it more simplified later, but it's kingoffomo.com/whatever the platform is, right? So this is going to be kingoffomo.com/polygon60 or P60. And you guys can check it out for yourself if you're brave enough to try this degen thing. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is going to be, let's go ahead and talk about BitNest next. Okay, so here's BitNest. So again, this is another highly aggressive platform. I believe, I can't remember. I think this is also on the Binance Smart Chain off the top of my head. But nonetheless, this works very similar to Polygon 60. You can stake for 1 day, 7 days, 14 days, or the higher 28 days, and that's going to give you a different return depending on what you put in here. So again, let's just say you're putting in $2,000, and you say you're doing it for 28 days. You're going to get back $2,480. Now, I am currently staking on my computer right now. You can see it. Well, you can't see it yet, but I'll show you guys in a second. For a 14-day stake for $200, which is going to turn my $200 into $220. So $219. And that stake is going to end in about 10 days. So I'll show you guys on my camera because it's not loading on my computer. So there it is right there. That's my 14-day stake for $200 to $219. Now again, if you're feeling brave, you can do a higher stake for that 28 days or that 14 days or put a higher amount, but I'm just kind of dipping my toes in the water for these platforms for now, so we're going to see how that works out for me next. So let's go ahead and move on to the next platform, which is the one that I'm currently kind of most excited about, which is Gandhi. So let's talk about that next. All right, so here we are on the Gandhi website. So scrolling down here, again, this is on the Ethereum mainnet. So we got a lot of different chains going on. We got Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, and Ethereum. Down here, we can just see the updates. This is something that I like to do. I always like to tell you guys where we're at right now. Again, just to see if things are growing. That's just my personal thing. I don't want to keep talking about a platform if the platform is disappearing and people are forgetting about it, because if you've been in crypto long enough, you know that usually means the death of any project, whether you're talking about a passive profit platform, a meme coin, an altcoin, or anything. So we are seeing some gained interest in Gandhi. I talked about this 2 days ago, and we were at, for the tier 2, we had 90 of those tier 2 NFTs sold. So here we are about 2 days later to the dot, and we are at 110 tier 2 NFTs sold. So we sold an extra 13, I believe, NFTs, and we're getting to that tier 3 rate soon. Now, this might or might not happen because it is sort of a new concept, I believe. But typically what happens with a lot of these smart contracts is you look at this like, oh, 110, they got 40 more NFTs left. I got some time. I can wait. I don't need to jump into this yet. And then especially when they get real close, like you get to like 120, 125, then somebody goes ahead and snatches up those last tier 2s before they're gone. And then you're automatically at tier 3. So it can go pretty quick, even if it's going really slow. So if you're thinking about jumping into this, I would highly recommend trying to get in on tier 2, because you're getting in at half price. If you could get in on tier 1, even better, but tier 2 is going to be where it's at. And as far as the total amount of NFTs, just so you know, it's not completely unfair. We're at about the halfway point of NFTs sold. So you're still going to have a lot of people buying the tier 3 NFTs. It's not like you've completely missed out if you're stuck buying tier 3. You're going to be with the majority of other people. And even still, you're early no matter what, because these NFTs are for the believers of the Gandhi platform. And I've talked about this before in my other videos. If you are a believer and this thing ends up working out, it doesn't matter if you bought tier 1, 2, or 3. You are going to be reaping a lot of benefits from having those SWJ tokens before all those buy-ins happen afterwards. So currently I have one. I'm hoping to get some more. I'm kind of gonna fall into my own trap of saying, oh, I got some time, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be tier 3 and I'm gonna buy them for 1 ETH each. But yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what's going on with it. Someone talked about in my other video, I'm going to be talking about all the clones for this. I don't know. I don't think there's going to be too many clones of this. It's a pretty unique concept. And I think a lot of people in crypto, they're just not doing this type of thing anymore, creating these types of smart contracts anymore. So if there are clones of this, I think that Gandhi will have to be extremely successful in order for there to be clones. And even at that, I think sticking with Gandhi in the beginning is going to give you the biggest profit. If there are clones later, then we can talk about that later. But nonetheless, I think that this is going to be really exciting, seeing if we have some of our older people in crypto come back to it, that are starting to see it. I just really like the way that the buzz is generated for this thing over time. And maybe you're new to the channel, maybe you're new to crypto, but the way that this thing works is you can have just a snowball effect that happens with these types of contracts, and just the word of mouth, people going out saying, wow, this thing's making people a lot of money really quickly. They're able to multiply their funds. These people who bought their NFTs are really, really lucky they got in so early. And then the word of mouth snowball effect happens, and all of a sudden you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of Ethereum being poured into this platform all at once. And then, like I said, the people who are the earliest, you're going to see some nice gains from that, even if you're early to the contract. Let's just say the contract launches and you're in the first couple of hours or first couple of days, and then the snowball effect happens. That's the key here with Gandhi. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what this thing does overall. All right, guys, that is everything to get for today. I want to keep this video under 15 minutes. So if you want to follow along with my community, you can check out that link in the bottom. It's kingoffomo.com/TG. That'll bring you to my Telegram page. And then links to all this other stuff is going to be below in the description, kingoffomo.com/Gandhi, and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, check out all this stuff. And just to put the final stamp on this in terms of like what I'm looking at, and the most risky things in the short-term plays are going to be Polygon 6D and BitNest. And the longer-term plays, if this is how you like to do it, if you like to skip the short-term stuff, is going to definitely be Gandhi. That's going to be a longer-term thing. We'll see how that goes over the next months. And Noah Labs, same thing. Over the next months, we can see that thing really grow. So you're pretty early to both of those things. And if you want the DJ plays, check out P6D and BitNest. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.